In Romans 9:15, Paul quotes from Exodus 33:19, which says, "I will have mercy upon whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion upon whom I will have compassion." Our Calvinist brethren construe this to mean that God has chosen to grant the mercy of salvation only to some and to harden the rest to eternal judgment. Well, hello again, everyone. It's Dr. Jonathan Williams with Word of God Speak, and we're in round 7 of The Fight of the Centuries, where I engage with John Piper's Calvinist book, The Justification of God, with my book, Romans 9, and the story Paul is telling. Piper knows the context of the story in Exodus, and yet he still interprets Romans 9:15 in a Calvinist way. He makes Paul's quote from Exodus 33:19 to support an idea that is 100% opposite the story in Exodus. It's breathtaking. Would Paul take a verse from the Torah, which has one meaning in its original context, and give it the opposite meaning in his letters? Remember, Paul was a Torah scholar, much smarter than John Piper and much more smarter than I am in regard to the Torah. The story in Exodus, though, is all about God's interaction with humans. It's not about God's independence from humans. The story in Exodus is God's response to intercession, not God's unilateral action. Moses turns God from righteous judgment to merciful compassion in the story. And God's merciful and compassionate responses to Moses' prayers caused Moses to say, "Oh God, show me your glory." But Calvinists construe God's response to mean, "I will show you the glory of my sovereign independence." Piper and Calvinism are woefully wrong in their explanation of God's glory. And this error is compounded infinitely when we get to the part of the Exodus story where God actually does show his glory. When God told Moses in Exodus 33:19, "I will have mercy upon whom I will have mercy," that was not the revelation of God's glory. That happened the next day. God was saying, "This is what I'm going to do. This is the way I am, and I'm going to show you my full glory tomorrow." So let's see what happened, and let's see how it gives us insight into how we should interpret Romans chapter 9. "The Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord.